When Ben Franklin walked out of the convention that gave us the Constitution, a woman stopped him on the street and said, "Mr. Franklin, what have you done?" And Franklin said, "We have given you a republic if you can keep it."
Don't worry, we're not talking politics. This time is football. Actually, every time is football. Welcome to the Football Man channel. Without further ado, I want to kick it off. First and foremost, I want to speak about Ryan Mason. And he got a skull fracture in the game against Chelsea. He's been out of the hospital now, and he's in stable condition. He got a brain bleeding as well. It's a massive injury, and I hope that Ryan Mason gets well soon, and we hope to see him on the pitch very soon as well. So get well, Ryan Mason.
Parliament members.
We have lost that republic.
Now, there is a few things I want to talk about. It's actually three things. First, player loyalty to their teams. The second is changing the game, and third is young players. I will try to be sharp, I will try to be short, and I'll try to be concise. So bear with me in the next few minutes.
In a system where members are dependent on large contributions.
Talking about player loyalty, there is one name which you probably already guess, which is gonna come on the horizon. That's Dimitri Payet. The situation with Dimitri Payet in the last month, it's been more than shambolic, that's for sure. Well, I'll try to recap very quickly for those who don't know. Dimitri Payet said that he doesn't want to play for West Ham anymore, which has been a shock for everyone because he's been treated very well and been taken a very good care at West Ham. He said that he doesn't feel happy and he wants to go to Marseille. Now, Slaven Bilic had a very strong opinion about that, and he said that he's not going anywhere. And he needs to respect the team and he needs to respect the effort. And I completely agree with Slaven Bilic, and I think that Payet should have been dealt in a different manner. Now, what happened is that Dimitri Payet was sold to Marseille for 25 million. On the one side, that's not too bad. I mean, West Ham bought him from Marseille for 10 million and they sell him with 15 million profit. Don't forget that Dimitri is 30 years old and he doesn't have the brightest future in front of him. He's always been not very disciplined, and it's been always stumbles like that. When he was brought from Marseille, from Slaven Bilic, he had same sort of issues there. So I think that on the one side, it's quite good that he's going with like that West Ham managed to sell him with a big profit. On the other side, West Ham are struggling quite a lot, and I'm sure that they would like him to stay for at least the summer because he's been on very good wages as well, and he had a contract for I think another 2 years. I might be wrong in that, but still I'm sure that West Ham would have loved to have Payet till the end of the season, taking into account the form that they're into right now because they're struggling a bit in the Premier League. But the more important question which I want to raise is that I think that players, they're not very loyal to their teams. They're not actually at all loyal to their teams. And take into account, for example, Diego Costa. Now everything is resolved. Diego Costa was offered 30 million per year from a Chinese club and he was ready to go. And of course you can't blame him because that's way too much money and that's pretty much going to resolve all his issues for the rest of the life. But I think that most of the players leave out of the equation the loyalty that which they should be showing to their team, and it's kind of a sad because we don't see anymore. We see it with Stevie Gio, for example, or we see it with Totti in Roma, but I mean we don't see those type of relationships between players and clubs so much, and that's kind of a sad because football has been about loyalty. It's been a bit about other many things as well. But it surely is taking away some of the beauty in football when players like Dimitri Payet do stuff like that. And now he's been showing his Marseille jersey, and it's very hard for the West Ham fans. On the other side, West Ham fans, they got some good money, they can buy some good players now, and they have Andy Carroll, and the team seems to be playing much better without Dimitri Payet, which nobody could ever predict, but probably he was a down character in the dressing room. So who knows, maybe it's for the better, maybe it's for the worse. But the problem is that players should be more loyal to their teams, and vice versa as well. Teams should be more loyal to their players. Next, I want to talk about Mark van Basten. Mark van Basten is a technical director of the. First, Mark van Basten was a legend. He is a legend in the football, and the way he plays, and the way he used to play, actually is probably more accurate to say. The way he used to play was absolutely astonishing, and he's being a role model for many people. And rightly so. Now he's he's been a technical director at FIFA for at least, I think, 1 year or something. And he came with a blueprint of changing the game. It's been different things there. I mean, it's been some good stuff and some bad stuff. I'll start with the good stuff. I mean, he said that the game needs to be changed. And for example, the referees shouldn't be surrounded with players, and only the captain should be allowed to talk to the referee, which I completely agree. The video technology, it's also Mark van Basten's idea for implementation, and he's saying that video technology is very important and it should be part of the game. Of course, it comes to deciding when it should be used, how it should be used, and what if the situation is very close. I mean, I think that video technology is necessary in the game of football, and we have to take advantage of all the advancements we have in our lives. And technology is one of them. So in situations, I think it was the Man United game. No, it was the Man City game against, I can't remember who it was, but I'm sure it was Man City, because Sterling was pushed in the back, and that was a clear penalty. And on the replay, on the instant replay, you can see it's a clear penalty, but the referee didn't see it because he didn't have the angle. So, and Sterling was pushed in the back, in the box, no penalty. If it was a video technology there, the referee could have been like, okay, my bad, the guys in the box said it was a penalty. And that decides the game, because that game was 2 each, and the penalty situation occurred when it was 2-1. So let's say that probably Man City scored their penalty and it's 3-1. And I mean, it's not game over, but it's much different game. So I think that video technology is a very big thing, and Mark van Basten is right to ask for something like that. What I really didn't like is that he was saying that the offside rule should be removed. And so see, that's something I don't agree with. Do you really don't want to have the offside rule? I mean, this is gonna change the game drastically. And I'm not speaking here as a person who is afraid of a change. I mean, I think that change is what drives the world forward. But offside is such a big thing that we cannot just leave it. And this is gonna change the course. I think it's gonna go for the worst. Imagine there is no offside. You know what the game is gonna be like? It's gonna be no game in the middle of the park. Teams are gonna get more defensive because they need to take care of the forwards. So it's going to be more defenders sitting deep into their field, and it's going to be more defenders in the other side of the half, because they need to protect. When they need extra bodies near the goals, it's going to be less bodies in the middle. The good midfield and the combination play is what makes this game beautiful. I think that the no offside is a bit of exaggeration, and they shouldn't be implementing that. We also see, like now with Ryan Mason also, they speak about no hitting the ball. I completely understand where they're coming from. I know that hitting the ball causes head injuries, but I think we also have to consider that there is differences. It's not every single hitting of the ball causing the brain injuries. When kids are training before the age of 10, kids are not hitting the ball, and I'm completely for that. But I think that it's also very important just to realize how much of a part this is of the game. And if there is consequences, which surely there is, players should be aware of that, and players should be okay. You have to know that if you hit the ball too much, this can happen, and it's not a secret. Nobody can tell you what to do. If the players don't want to hit the ball and they're not playing because the coach wants them to play with their heads, well, that's a problem of the coach then. So we can protect the players, but we can also give them the chance. because taking away options for somebody to choose is pretty much close to slavery. So I think that changing the game too much it's not going to be good for the sport. Changing the game in the positive way, changing the game so we can take away the human error is what we want. But making it a completely different one is going to lose its charm. We can see that with the World Cup. It's been in January, in this month, the World Cup, it's been voted to be consisting of 48 teams. Keep the game as we know it. 48 teams I think it's way too much for a World Cup. It used to be 8 teams. And I say, okay, that's not enough. Now 32, I think it was a good compromise. Now 48 is getting a bit too much. I'm sure that this number is gonna rise. If we try to keep the game as we know it, and we also try to remove the human error, is what's the golden middle of it. I want to close this episode with talking about young players. And I'll try to be short here because the time is passing by. What motivates me is because it was Liverpool and something happened. Liverpool lost, and after that Jurgen Klopp got a bit of a hard time because he was using too many youngsters. My point here is that youngsters, especially in England, they're not getting their playing time that they're supposed to be getting. You have to compare a youth league against elite. I mean, not even elite league, like second division or third division. The football between those leagues is immense, and as a quality, some players are much better probably in the youth leagues than in the third league, but as physicality, it's a completely different story. See, for example, in the youth league, they play without tackles. So there is some players who, till the age of 21 or 23, they've never played against a person who is gonna slide tackle them. And all of a sudden, they're put in a situation which is, they play against like a second division team, they're like, well, what happened, why we lost? Like, we're so good. And I think that a big problem is, for example, Pep Guardiola said that Barcelona second team, for example, it's playing in the lower leagues in Spain. And he said it's a problem that in England they don't do that. As I said, it's singing from a completely different team sheet. And if we want the young players of England to develop, I think that it's a massive thing to provide them with the opportunities for them to develop. For example, make the young players playing in the lower leagues so they can get used to the physicality. Imagine playing against a defender who is not gonna slide tackle you. Imagine playing against a 21-year-old defender and playing against a 27-year-old defender. You know, the difference is massive, and you will be shocked if you try to play against such a player. Same with every position on the field. And those young players, they will be maturing much more, and they will be developing much more, and they will become better and better if they have the real competition to play against. So I think that's a major thing, and if it's implemented into the football, like we talk about changing the game, well, change the game in this way. Don't change it into getting 48 teams in the World Cup. Change it so that the young players can get their playing time against proper players. So we can make sure that the generation that it's coming after can also show something, that it's also given the opportunity. And of course, everyone wants to develop their own kinds. You know, you don't want to use players that are born in some other countries. You want to use the ones that are from your country, from your academy, that they know what the football club means. They want to wear the shirt and they want to protect the logo on the front of the shirt. Thanks very much for listening. I'm not sure how this episode was. I think that from next time onwards I will try to do 2 episodes per month, because I can also cover a bit more events so they can be more relevant. We can also talk about some football games. Thanks a lot for today, and see you soon.